Good morning and welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner. This is Photography Weekly, episode number 36. Coming up in today's show, we will look at some absolutely perfect gift ideas for the photographer in your family. So if you're watching this and you're the photographer and the loved one's in another room, bring them in for this part of the segment. You're going to want them to see this. Next, we're going to look at an online editor called Picnik. It's Picnik if you want to look it up before we get to that segment. And I was supposed to have, if you remember, I was supposed to have my daughter come in or my stepdaughter come in and teach this, but they're a little camera shy and I've been getting a lot of emails that says, Jack, can we have a look at Picnik? And I said, sure, let's have a look at that and see what it is. We're going to look at that today. And then, believe it or not, we're going to try this, but Skype is open today. And I'll be taking your questions via chat and Skype. So open your Skype up, get those cell phones out, and get these phone calls in here, folks. You know, we want these shows to be interactive. Interactive means that you ask me and I ask you. Even though I can't see you here face to face, I mean, we can if you use Skype, but we can at least talk even over the cell phone. And all I ask is I will bring that number up in between the segments and we'll talk about it then. So let's go ahead and get started this week, folks, with Photography Weekly. Okay, well, there we go. Now we're back in here. And, you know, it's great to have you folks here each and every week. I tell you all the time that I'm very, very much humbled that you're here. We also will have the chat room open. And I'm going to try to get, just trying to catch up on some of the chat room here. Okay, all right. Okay, so anyway, I was just checking up there. We did pick up a couple more viewers here this morning. Chicky, good morning to you. And Ron, good morning. Keith and Jody, I don't think originally I said good morning to you. And Vicky, I think I got everybody now. Good. Okay, now, so the chat room's open and I got to be more on top of this thing here somehow. I don't know how we're going to do this. The chat room is getting more and more busy, and that's good. That's what I've been wanting since day one of the show. I want you guys in there. I want you talking when we're doing the show. What happens is I do miss some questions. So when I turn to the chat room, I'm going to try to use this camera here, this camera in front of the laptop. The laptop is sitting here. You probably can't see that. Now you can. But the laptop is housing the chat room, so we're going to use that and to get the questions on. So what we are going to start off with this morning, but I'm going to try to only back up for a minute. I'm going to try to only follow the chat room in between the segments because I kind of get lost in my train of thought if I don't do that. So first we'll go with the segment and then we'll go back to the chat room. So as I said today, this is the time when you want to get all your loved ones into the room with you. Now, the reason I say that is because I'm going to tell you or tell them what the photographer in their life would like to have as the perfect gift. You know, and gifts are just that. You have to think of perfect gifts. And my wife asks me all the time, you know, she goes, Jack, what would you like for the holidays? What do you want for Christmas? And or I have a birthday coming up. Some of you may know that if you follow me on Facebook. You might know when that date's coming up. Not going to tell you here. And she says, what do you want for your birthday? I said, I don't know. I mean, I really, really don't know. I think because as we get older in life or a maturity level sets in where if you really want it, you'll buy it. There is some things I mentioned to her that I will not buy. And one of those are coming up today are my gift ideas. So okay, so we're going to talk about those things. Let's see here. We're going to bring up this camera over here because then we have to bring up a desktop shot of my computer here so we can go over this stuff. I have stuff all over. You know, when you're trying to build computers and set new things up, there is stuff all over the place. Have to bring that camera down just a little bit. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so there's a lot of different things for gift giving ideas. Now I'm going to have to get us, we're going to get a picture-in-picture shot here. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. Hi, there's me on me. Okay. Let's get the desktop up here. Now we'll bring the picture-in-picture up. Now that should work just fine. There we go. So make sure I'm here. So I'm interacting with you. That's important that you can see me interacting with you. And now we have the desktop shot up. Hopefully you can see these okay. The websites, I'll give you the websites as we move along here. This particular website here is where I can't say where I bought my studio lights. The company I bought my studio lighting from, I'm still dealing with them with a couple issues. And that is why, if you watched my unboxing video, my unboxing the studio lights, why that was marked private right now, it's not up on YouTube. And it's primarily because we're just going back. They just have to replace a couple things. I want to make sure that it's a good company before I tell you about it. Now, with that said, guys and girls, this company is called Neewer, Neewer.com. Now, they are one of those companies that's out of China. So when you order something, it's coming probably most likely from Hong Kong. But they have a very good reputation, and they are the ones that actually built the lights that I bought. It's just I bought my lights from a U.S. company. Now, the reason I showed you this site is they have some relatively inexpensive stuff in here. So it's really, really nice to be able to get some of this stuff. And I don't know what kind of camera you have, but I'm going to point out some things. So get your loved ones around a computer right now. Let's try to do a selection on my desktop here and see if I can't bring this up a little bit better. Let's see here, guys. Let's bring this over and bring this up here like this. We'll just try to make this a little bit better here for you to see it. Okay. Hopefully that helps a little bit there. Okay. So the things I like to tell people about is there's stuff in there. Now, most of the cameras, and I said that the Nikon Corporation, I don't know much about Canon, but the Nikon Corporation should actually be more involved in making batteries. Did you ever notice that a Nikon battery, you can get 20-some thousand shots out of a battery charge? It's ridiculous. But they do have what's called battery grips in here. Now, a battery grip goes on your camera, and there's usually a trigger button on that battery grip on the side. Why is that, Jack? Why would you want that? Because if you take your camera and you turn it into the portrait mode, what happens is up here with a battery grip, there'll be a shutter release on this side. So you can hold it and use a shutter. Now, I just use my finger down here on the bottom like I'm sure everybody does. I'll try to show you this here, right here on the shutter release, and I'm sure that's how you do it now. But also what the battery grip gives you is more battery power. So these are second hand or made by another company. These are not actually made by the Nikon. They're not made by Canon, so that's why they're relatively a lot cheaper. You can get those a lot cheaper. Now, with that said, we're big into talking about, and we had a lot of lessons on flashes. And I just showed my my class this that I taught, my live class, that a flash unit, I don't have mine here. I do have the Nikon SB600. And if you hear the word SB600, you say, Jack, SB600, that's kind of cool. You probably bought that a while ago. If you know anything about flashes, you'll know I bought it a while ago. And that's because now the SB700 is out and it replaced it. So I'm sure there's some more features in it. If you are the type of person that can go out and spend $200 to $400 for a flash, then go to your camera manufacturer and go ahead and buy that flash. I'm very, very happy that you can do that. Like I said, I got the Nikon flash, and when I bought it, I kind of didn't know any better. I didn't know there was other flashes out there that would do the job. And what you're looking for here, I'll bring this one up here. What you're looking for here, right here, is called ITTL or TTL. Now, if you've never heard of that before, what that simply means is, it's called through the lens. It's a way that a 35mm DSLR camera can meter the amount of light that you need. So as long as that flash is on top of here, on the hot shoe, as long as it's on top of the hot shoe, the camera will meter how much light you need. Wow, what does that mean? Well, what that means is you really don't need a light meter. A light meter is nice if you have studio lighting, and I asked the wife for one until she's seen that they cost about $200, so we're not getting that for now. But the light meter is more or less if you're using studio lighting and you're shooting with one of the wireless triggers. Now, with that said, folks, another great gift if you get somebody this, okay? Now, this is TTL on the camera, but you can, and I don't know if you've ever seen these or not, you can use a device like this one. This is one that I use. This is called a wireless trigger. And a wireless trigger, you put the flash up on top there. You see that picture right here on top. You set the channels, and you put this piece on top of your camera onto your hot shoe. And what happens is when you click the shutter, this piece sends a transmission signal to this piece. It receives it, and your flash is discharged. Now, with these, though, remember you can't use TTL or through the lens metering. This is just a straight setup, so there's no through the lens metering, folks, with this. If you want to do that, you have to go out and spend the money for the more expensive triggers. Now, the more expensive triggers you can find on B&H Photo Video, and they're wireless triggers, and you can purchase on there. Now, I'm looking at those, and you're looking at $200 for each individual piece. $200 for the trigger, $200 for the flash unit. Now, here's something to think about, though, is when you purchase these, and people, I think I showed you when we did the studio lighting how that works, but people say, Jack, do I need to buy a trigger for every light that I have? No, you don't, because every light will slave off of your primary light. That's how it works. So once again, every light will slave off of your primary light. So when its flash goes off, all the other flashes go off with them. Now, I went to a class too, because I still take photography classes. I'm not way above that or beyond that by any means. I'm the type of person that believes you can learn something new every day if you open up your ears and your eyes and realize that you need to put more in their brain. So I go to the class and I said, look, a guy was there that's been doing studio lighting for, I don't know, probably better part of 25 years or so. He's owned his own studio. He's won numerous contests for his lighting abilities. So I said, well, what happens when this first light goes off? Is there a delay with the other lights? And he told me that there's not. So when the flash goes off, all the flashes go at the same time. That's amazing to me how that works. The only thing he did say, the word of caution, is this. The word of caution would be, the word of caution is that you have to, let's get it down here. You have to actually, if you have a light up, and we're getting more into lighting than anything else here, products, but I want to touch base with you on this real quick. If you have a light as a hair light, and it's kind of up and behind where the wireless signal is not going to hit it, or the infrared is not going to hit it, you're going to want to put a trigger on that also, just to make sure. The slave light is not going to be able to trigger it. Maybe it's not going to see the light flash to trigger that. So you want to put a trigger on there. Okay, so that's some products, and like I said, you guys can go in here and you know what? Make sure if you order anything from Newer.com, I contacted them. I said, look, you guys, I'm going to be showing your site to my online people, and I'm sure it's going to bring them some business, but they have not asked me or anything to be an affiliate. So I always ask, if you buy anything from any of these companies, please at least put my name somewhere to order Jack's Tech Corner, so they know where you're coming from. Because these people don't believe we have this many viewers, is what it is. Then there's some other stuff here, screen protectors and cases, but we're going to look at some of that here in just a few minutes. The next item is up. The next item's up for bid. That's not true. Sounds like one of those auctioneers. Hey, the next item I want to tell you about, if you do green screen photography, or if you can't afford millions of dollars worth of backgrounds, or you have nowhere to set them up. Kevin can attest to this, and I know a lot of you folks in the chat room watch Kevin there. Kevin is a great guy, and he will tell you that he uses this software, and he also, I believe he bought the green screen from them. I'm not sure, but they just came out with a new product here, even a green screen pop-up stand. So we bought these. I actually have one here. I've had mine for quite some time. And let's see here, green screen equipment. So if you go here, there's some relatively cheap backgrounds for the green screening. And you don't have to actually buy his software. It makes it a lot easier. I've done videos on how to get rid of the green or chroma key with just using Photoshop Elements. I did a lot of videos on that. It's a lot harder, but in this time and age in life when a lot of people are strapped for money, we want to make it as inexpensive as possible. So you can buy just a lightweight. That's what I own, is the lightweight screen. We also purchased heavy duty screens at our school where I work, and they're a little bit more, but they are a lot. You can't see through them as much. The light doesn't pass through it as much, so they are nice. So if you can afford it, I would say buy the heavy duty one, but that's totally up to you. Like I said, I have the lightweight one. I can tell you it folds a lot easier, and it works really, really well. Also, Ken is going to be coming to the show here, not today, but I will be bringing some words from Ken to a upcoming show to tell you about all the stuff that he does. So I think it's very, very great software. I use it. I've taught a lot of classes on it. There's a standalone version if you have Windows. Then there's plug-in versions if you have a Mac or Windows. It'll plug into your Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. Okay. So that is the green screen. And I just seen on there that you're using it for video. I just wanted to show you here. Let's see here. Here it is. There is green screen software called the Zipper. I haven't played with it a whole lot because I don't do a whole lot of green screening video. And you say, Jack, you do all kinds of videos, man. You don't do green screen video? We've played with a couple in the house. I've done a couple, and a while back I used a green screen as a backdrop for this live show, just to play around. But the green screen Zipper works on Windows only, and you could do green screening that way for video. That's exactly what it's for. It's for video. So that's a new venture, but then he has tons of backgrounds in there. So that is the Green Screen Wizard. You see that advertised on pretty much all my shows. I've been working with Ken for several years. Ken is an affiliate with the show. So if you purchase his product or anything that he sells, go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, and use the graphics. Click on the graphic for Green Screen Wizard there, and go to Ken's site to purchase anything. That helps the show a lot. The next one is another person that I picked up here recently. Really doesn't help any with the sales to this company, so you can purchase from them however you like to purchase from them. But they were nice enough to get me a demo copy of their software over to me to try out. So if you do portraits, if you do any portrait work, this is a, not a must-have, but it makes your portraits amazing. And any portrait, not just the women it's showing on here, it also makes portraits of men amazing. It takes the face of a man and it cleans it up, just like brides it's showing here with the bride. And there's good and bad with this, because I do a lot of wedding photography, and what we come up with, I don't think somebody wants their whole entire complexion or their whole entire face changed or airbrushed. You got to watch, because you don't want somebody coming in saying, wow, that's a really nice picture of your husband up here. Who's that girl he's with? Right? You don't want them to say that. So you want to leave some of the characteristics of the person, I think. So you don't want to clean up too much. But it does a really, really nice job. And it was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale now or not. Yeah, it is. They have a standalone version here, like a base version for $40. If we go into editions here, yeah, they're all still on sale there. The standard version is $40. Again, this is nice Christmas gift. The studio version is $60, and that comes with the plug-in, so it'll work inside of your Photoshop elements. The studio, if you're a professional photographer and you're doing portraits every day and you're making lots of money on it, spend $120. If not, I personally have the $60 one, and that's the one I'm currently using in my elements. So there you have it. Okay, now we go to my favorite and your favorite store, B&H Photo Video. Now here's an interesting story, because I like to throw stories out there with you, and tell you that B&H Photo Video in New York City, we took the girls one day, the kids, not my son didn't go, but the girls did. We took the girls, we went to stay in New Jersey, a place called Belmar, New Jersey. I don't know if you're familiar with it, look it up on a map. And there's a train that takes you to New York City. We took a train, we went into New York City. Once into New York City, I said, hey, we have to find B&H Photo Video. Lord knows they have enough of my money. I think I deserve to go see the building. So my wife said, that's great. We're going to do a couple of things here, a couple of things there. And we decided to get down there. Now this is on I think on a Saturday. I believe we were in the city on a Saturday. We take a walk down to find them, which was a pretty far walk. If I would have known any better, we probably should have took a taxi. By the time we found them, it was 5:30 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. Well, that was all right until I looked at the sign at the door and it said we close at 5 o'clock p.m. Saturday afternoons. So, yep, I seen the store. I did not get to walk in any of the aisles, so my loss. So we went and we had dinner somewhere, so it was the kids' gain at that point. Okay, so with that, that was my little story. Had to get that out there to you. We, as a whole, right? We as a unit of people that carry cameras, that do things with our cameras, we have a responsibility to put our gear in something safe and carry it around. Now, this is that one thing I told you that my wife keeps asking me I told her this is something I would like that I wouldn't buy myself. I have a camera case, so I can't see buying a new case if I have a case. But I like these low pro cases. And if you do a search on YouTube for low pro. I was going to do it for you, but I figure I'll let you watch the videos on your own time. But the low pro fast pack, and then they have a low pro sling pack or sling bag with one strap on the back. I like these because you can flip it around to your front. You flip it around to your front, and you flip it open, and you can pull the camera right out. So it's really, really fast access to your camera. And it also has a waterproof pouch. If you're out, if you're hiking, we go out, we shoot pictures at a couple lakes near us, and it starts to rain. You don't want that really nice looking bag getting wet. Well, there's a rain poncho in the bag itself you pull out and pull over it. So these are the low pro bags. They have all different sizes that you can use or buy. This happens to be called the fast pack. You can see there where you can put all your camera gear in, and when you flip this thing around, you can actually pull that camera right out. So this is a great, great gift idea. I like low pro. There's millions of companies that make bags out there. It's not that I have a preference. It's the one that I've owned. I've owned quite a few different types of low pros, and they're good quality bags. So you take your pick there. Next, yep, that's right, the digital camera. Oh, your family members are going, oh, Jack, you had to go there. You had to want us to spend the big bucks. Big bucks, no whammies. Anybody remember that show? Big bucks, big bucks, big bucks, no whammies, bloop, bloop. And they come up with a whammy. The digital camera. Everybody that watches this show, unless you're new, knows that I shoot Nikon. My newest Nikon is my D7000 right here. And I also shoot with a D80, which I've had for quite a while. Before that, I sold my D70S. So then before that, I had a D70. And it's kind of weird. That's one of those upgrades like Apple did recently, right, with the iPhone. So Nikon had a D70. Then they said, hey, here's the D70S. And I said, I better buy it. So I did. Then the D80. I skipped the D90. Then I got now the D7000. So it's the same line. There's a new camera they came out with. It's called a mirrorless digital camera. Take a look at it here. If you have not seen these are These are quite remarkable cameras. I think they're cool. Did I get my hands on one yet? No, I have not. But look how thin it is. I did read a little bit about it, though. These lenses that it comes with, if you buy with the 2-lens kit, that is the 2 lenses you get with it. You cannot use any of your lenses, your own personal lenses, you cannot use with this. So, what is it called? It's called the Nikon 1. The Nikon 1. It's a mirrorless digital camera. That's how they save the room in it. There's no, in a normal 35 millimeter, you can probably hear this. If you can hear that shutter, that's the actual, that's a really good looking picture, Jack. That's the actual mirror, the mirror inside the camera, flipping open, flipping close, flipping open, flipping close. It's called the shutter, right? That's the shutter. That's what's happening. In these new cameras, there's no mirror going up and down. That's how they made it smaller. It's a digital sensor, like a point and shoot, but it has interchangeable lenses. Here's one thing I was telling you about is none of your lenses, like I have these Nikon lenses, none of those will work with these cameras. So there is a drawback. Probably going to keep me from buying one because they are almost $800. Next thing I would tell you about is if you're buying one of these, there's 2 models. There's that one, and let's just show the other one. That's interesting. Anyway, there is another Nikon 1 that has a viewfinder on the top, but for that viewfinder, I think it's a necessity with the camera of this nature. But that viewfinder is going to set you back about another $100. So there you have it. Okay, looking at, if you guys are watching the chat room, there's also one. Ron said there's one made by Sony. And I think I did see that, Ron, at Best Buy, like you said. And I remember seeing it, and it was sold out. It's pretty popular. So I think a lot of companies are starting to make these particular cameras. Now, with that said, let's go here. Now with the DSLR line, remember again, I am a Nikon guy. I can't tell you how much I really like Nikon. If you're going to the Pro version and you are a Howard Stern fan, Howard Stern, I heard on his radio show, he is shooting with this particular camera right now. Is the D3S is what Howard Stern shoots with. Why? Because Howard Stern has $5,000 some to pay for a camera. That is why. Look at the camera too, folks. That's body only, no lens. Now, if you're in the other boat, I'm going to show you a couple things here, since I know a lot of you people are looking for digital cameras that's watching the show. If you buy Now, this is not saying any camera is any better than any else. I'm giving you the insight, my information to you. If you buy the camera like the D3100, which is one of the newer consumer type based cameras, consumer DSLR, I should say, they're very, very nice. I use these in my class. People bring them in. We shoot with them. They take excellent photographs, beautiful pictures. The price is right, $569. Price is pretty fair. The only drawback is, folks, the motor to this camera that works the autofocus is in the lens. That's how they make the body cheaper, because the focus motor is in the lens. And you say, Jack, does that really, really matter? Here's what matters. If I buy a lens for my camera for 50 millimeter lens, let's say, I think it's $110 Nikon price for my camera. If you buy that lens for this camera, it could be $300 to $400, because you're also buying a motor every time you buy a lens. So if you're going to buy lenses, it's cheaper in the forefront to just go ahead and spend the money and buy the camera with the motor in the lens. And as I told you, D700 again is a paraprofessional camera, but you know what? It has nothing on the D7000. I do numerous researches. I do numerous video watching on YouTube when I go to buy something. And this particular camera, this D7000, has every feature, every bell, every whistle that you're going to need for a long, long time. So that is a great, great camera. Camera only is $1,300. Remember, you're going to pay up front when you buy some lenses now. And don't think now, I'll never buy a lens. Yeah, you will. You will buy a lens. You'll think that today, but you will buy a lens. Now, with that said, let's look at some lenses. Me personally, I stay away from Nikon lenses. Why? Because they're almost double in price. I'm a big Sigma guy. Here's the Sigma lenses. Now, when I tell people a lot of this is, I tell people the best picture in the world is in the glass. Well, no, back that up. The best picture in the world is in the photographer. You behind the camera that's capturing it in camera, you are doing the great work of making that picture work for you. Now, with that said, the second part of that, cameras are cameras. You pay $1,400, $1,500 for your camera, and then you need a really, really good lens. Now, the lenses that come with them is a stock lens. It's the lens they give you with. It's usually like a 5.6 f-stop. But if you look at these lenses here, now these are really wide angle lenses, and they are a 3.5 f-stop. And there's some 4.6s, 5.6s. Now, what does that mean? What do you think that means? Here's what that means. The lower the f-stop, the lower the number, the more light it allows into the camera. And the lens becomes faster. People say, wow, Jack, did they put like super oil in the motor? No, that's not the case. The lens itself is faster. That's why you're spending the money for it. I'm going to demonstrate that here. Let's see. Which I went to find this lens this morning and couldn't find it. That's another story. Okay. So this lens here, if you see how big that is right there, that's how it lets in so much light, because that's such a big wide opening. This is a 70 by 200 lens, and it's an f2.8 is the aperture, f2.8. So you spend the money for that lens, and it takes amazing pictures. But what's key there is it even takes amazing pictures in low light. So that's the key part of it. So when you look at lenses, don't look at it try to buy the cheapest. Look at it to buy the one that's going to fit your application, what you want to do with it. That is lenses. The next, we need great stocking stuffers, right? Everybody has stockings hanging by the mantle. And we were sitting at Thanksgiving talking about that whole concept. Who was that first thought about that? Years ago, I know they used to wash their socks, in a wash pan, right? During the settler days, I guess. They'd hung up by the fireplace to drip dry, right? Or maybe they were wet. Maybe you're out in the snow and you hung them by the fireplace to drip dry. And then somebody thought, that really cool smelly sock cover looks like a good place to put a bunch of candy in there, So who thought of that stocking thing anyway? I don't know. Maybe you could tell me in the chat room here when we check that back out. But memory cards are always a great option. I suggest buying the biggest memory card you can afford. Check your camera book first to make sure it'll handle it. But I have a 32 gig card and a 16 gig card in the D7000. And if I want to shoot raw images, I don't worry about it. I just shoot raw images. So that is a very, very good buy. The next and the last thing I wanted to tell you about here was tripods. We talk about tripods on the show, and it's always funny to me because when I teach my live classes, I have a part of that class. I say, everybody bring your tripods tomorrow. I start getting that, we don't have a tripod. We don't have a tripod. It's like, what? You don't have a tripod? I don't understand that. So tripods are very important. If you want to get off cheap on a tripod, you want to buy something, a nice gift, go to one of the local department stores and pick yourself up an inexpensive tripod. Okay, with that, we're up to the part here of the show this morning where we're going to go ahead and I'm going to actually play my commercial break, fill the coffee cup up, and be right back. Also, check out this sponsor, Green Screen Wizard, written by Ken. Ken is an amazing programmer. What else can you say? He's written algorithms to make green screening a piece of cake. If you ever tried green screening and removing the green, you always get that green cast and everything in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. Well, Green Screen Wizard takes care of that. Ken took the time. He also is an amazing background shooter. In talking to Ken on the phone for about an hour, a couple different times, Ken is a great person. He travels the world and he shoots backgrounds for you. So, no longer do you have to buy all those expensive backgrounds. Just buy a kit from Ken, set the green screen up, take a picture, and then drop in any background you want. Once again, that's Green Screen Wizard for all your green screening needs. With that said, go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, and look for the sponsors links on the left. You want to click on the graphics, and that will take you to the sponsors links. When you use my website to get to them, that helps the show out, and I truly appreciate it, as well as then the sponsors know that you are coming from Jack's Tech Corner Show. And if you want to help even more, you can pick up a DVD. It will not only help the show, it helps you. You can learn Photoshop Elements. There's many, many tips and tricks in there that you're going to learn with. You don't have to worry about the internet speed then. All the videos are burnt onto the DVD. Or like many of you already did, you can also donate to the show. All donations of any size are greatly appreciated, and they help to buy new equipment as well as the software I need to continue to do these videos for you. So, thank you very much, and let's go ahead and get back to Jack's Tech Corner and more learning. Okay, so here we are. Back to Jack's Tech Corner. I need a blooper reel with this thing, with this show, but welcome back to Jack's Tech Corner. There we go. Now let's put this up under here. Let's see if this will work. There we go. We can probably speed it up a little bit. Just like that. And there we go. Let's drop back to the other camera though, because what I'm going to do here is check the chat room out. And check that out there and drop that down a little bit. Okay, so we should have that scrolling on the screen here. And we will turn this way and we will check out the chat room and see what is going on here before our next segment. Also, if you can see there, folks, the Skype is open. I know a few of you like to call in during the show. So you can Skype me at Jack's Tech Corner, or you can call the show this morning at 724-701-0911. I'd love to hear from you, and love to be able to get you up on the show there and talk to you. Turn up my mic a little bit here so I can hear it. And let me tell you, and I tell a lot of people this story about Nikon. And it's fun listening to people, and I don't want to make I don't want to make any wrong impressions here, but I've also heard it pronounced Nikon, Nikon instead of Nikon. And I don't know which country that is, but I get these people that will call in and say, my Nikon. Or you watch a YouTube video. It's pretty cool. But as we're waiting for you to dial your phones to call into the show, to talk to me this morning, everyone, that's an open-ended suggestion to call in. We used to get a lot of calls in the show. Not that many people are calling anymore. What I wanted to tell you was, I'll tell you this little story about Nikon. What made me a Nikon fan. And who is texting me during the show. Let's check that out and see. That's a Google Plus. One of you guys are on Google Plus, actually. Plusin'. Good deal. Okay. A little shocker, isn't it? Yeah, okay. We got the... you're right. We got the fresh cup of Java there, so that's good. So what made me a Nikon fan? I was going to do a wedding once, and myself and the wife. At that time, we had one camera that we worked with. It was a D70S. Now, here's what happened was, I knew the camera was out of warranty. I turned it on. It's flashing. I was like, you got to be kidding. So I thought, well, it's a great time to buy a new camera. So I approached my wife. I said, look, we could buy a new camera. And she said, maybe we should see about getting that one fixed. Sorry, so much talking there. Just dries you out a little bit. She said, maybe we should get that one fixed. And I said, well, that's a good idea. Let's get it fixed. So what I decided to do was call Nikon. I said, look, I know this camera's out of warranty. I mean, and I will pay whatever I need to pay to get it fixed because I have a wedding coming up. And they said, absolutely, that's fine. First, I had to pay to ship it back, which I did. I paid to ship it back to them. And I gave them a few weeks, about a week and a half in. I still didn't hear anything. So I figured by Saturday, I'm going to call them up and say, hey, what is going on with my camera? I need it for this wedding coming up. Here by that week, by Friday, I go to the mailbox, and there is a card that says I have a package pickup. Package pickup? I didn't order anything. So Nikon took it upon themselves. They cleaned the camera up. They said they were very sorry that there was a part in there that was a point of failure. So they took that part and they actually replaced it, all of it for absolutely free. And they cleaned that camera like a brand new camera out of a box. Sent the whole thing, paid to send it back to me with this great big apologetic letter that it was their fault, that the camera had a failure in it, that they took care of it. And ever since that day, I told my wife, if a company goes, they could have just said, hey, it's $100 to get it fixed, and I would have paid it. Any company that large to be that honest is worth buying from. So they're not they're not affiliate of this show. They're not affiliate of my YouTube shows, but they are a good, solid company and good people. And I bought a Nikon. So there you go. That's why I want you to buy Nikons or Nikon. Is there anything happening in the chat room? Am I missing things? I had to refresh mine or something. I don't see anything going on in there at all right now. I see a lot of people in there. I don't see anything going on in the chat room. There it is. Brian, you're right. You're right, my friend. Nothing better than customer service. Word of mouth is a billion times better than me slamming the company because they never knew I'd be doing live shows when that whole thing happened. I don't even know if I was doing YouTube videos then. So, and I've been doing those since what? You guys know, like 2008. So, there you go. So, yeah, you're right. Customer service, and man, I tell you, I talk them up all the time. And in my live class at school, there was 7 people, 6 people that have approached me in the school. I told them to buy Nikons. 6 people came with Nikon cameras. Picnic. Like, hey, boo-boo, I like to have a picnic basket. Remember? Like, I don't know if you went to see that or not. The whole Yogi Bear thing. I took my daughter. She couldn't wait to see it. We seen it in 3D. That was pretty crazy. But that's my impression of Yogi Bear. He wanted a picnic basket. So, this is Picnic or Picnik, whatever. The kids are blown away by this. They're using this. And I think they're using it because it's so tied into Facebook. Somehow it's tied into your Facebook pictures, and you can edit your Facebook pictures by using this service. Now, I've been receiving emails that said, Jack, asked me about this service and stuff, and I wanted to go ahead and show you how it works. So you just go to picnik.com, click on Get Started. Probably should have tried this before the live show, huh? Okay, it's fluffing the clouds, and it's doing the buffering, and it's sprinkling dew, and I don't know what the heck that all means. Here you go. Obviously, it's some kind of flash-based site, so it probably will not work on your iPads. Not to say they probably have an application, I think, for the iPhone and iPad. I think. Don't hold me to that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to upload a picture. Yeah, maybe. Let me find a picture here. Let's see. Let's see. Where are the pictures? Well, if I clicked on pictures, maybe I'd find a picture. No. Let's go back up here to... Is my kid being crazy? Here's a nice one I took outside. Let's grab this one. So let's upload a picture. And that didn't take long at all. So that's how it's uploaded. Now what's nice about this, it looks like, I haven't really used it. Like I said, I've been talking to the kids. I wanted them to teach this to you, but they opted out because of camera shyness, I guess, which is okay. People can be camera shy. It has up here auto fix. You can do that. We can do some cropping. Let's do some cropping. Let's see if this works. Oh, let's see. Oops. It won't let me move it. Huh. Oh, you must have to zoom it down. Here it goes. Nope, that's for the whole picture. Let's see here. Scale. No, I'm going to cancel that because the cropping's not really letting me do much cropping. Okay. Put that picture back down here. You can do some exposure. And there's some overexposure, some lower exposure, right? Underexposure, shadows. So that stuff works. The cropping should have worked, right? You can actually set the cropping here. Yeah, I see what it's saying. That's pretty neat because you can crop it actually to like a Twitter picture. So that would fit exactly onto your Twitter account, which I know you have one, right? Because you follow me on there. And if you follow me on Twitter, actually it's called Technoman. Don't ask me where I got that from. Don't know. We can resize it. So there's some nice stuff you can do in here. You can color. We can change the saturation. So it's working very well. So I can see why the kids like it. It's very easy to use. We can add special effects. This is where the kids really shine with this special effects here. You can see there, you can cancel it at any time if you don't like it. Vignette. We can give it some more. You can even You can change the color. You can even change the colors right here. That is really, really neat. I like that. So it's painless. It's really a painless program to use. I don't know really how much I have to teach you about this. I don't know if there's anything fantastic or fabulous that we're missing. Let's try to stack a couple things here real quick since we're here. Nah, we're not going to stack that. Where it was 1960s. How did they know? Were they there? I was. All right, let's do that. We're going to apply that. Then let's frame it. Yeah, this is what my daughter likes to play with. I've seen her do these before. That's a postage stamp. That's kind of cool. Mirrored frame. Yeah, that's neat. That's a nice effect. But look at the bottom. If you're watching this, look at the bottom where it says premium features. You know what that means? They want you to pay for that. Oh, they're marked, though. Premiums. Okay. They are marked. Let's do a daisy frame. Should look good in daisy frames. There we go. My kid with daisies around her. There we go. Click apply. Okay. So that's nice. Seasonal. Ah, look at all that stuff you can do with it too. Seasonal stuff. And they do have some kind of premium membership. I'm just showing you the free stuff. Oh, if they're seasonal, how come there's no Christmas up there? I mean, come on, that's the holiday coming up. And it's new. I don't see it anywhere. New Year's Eve. Confetti frame. There you go. Now we stacked them. We got the flowers on there plus the confetti. So that's pretty cool. Then you can save and share it. You can save your photo right here. And I guess you can save it back. We're going to save this as DJ1. Under fun shots. So and then it actually downloads back to your computer. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I think it's a decent choice. So I'm glad somebody picked that for us to review and look at and see how it works. And that's neat, though. You can save it to your computer. You can save it to Picasso web albums, Twitter, Flickr, Facebook, or Photo Bucket. You can email it or you can print it right from the site. So that's cool. Like I said, I don't know what the premium is. It says over here, upgrade to premium. Let's see what that says. The premium is as little as $2.08 a month. So there you have it. $2.08 a month. So if you feel so inclined. But if you have Photoshop elements, I'm sure it'll do that part of it. So I would use this as something to play with. Just something online you can mess around with. And see if there's an app. I don't know if there's an app out there for it or not. It is hard to say. Okay, so let us go back here and see what's going on in the chat room real quick. And did you ever have one of those mics that just wants to give you continuous trouble? I tightened this the other day right here, and it's just, I don't know if it's getting stripped out from too much overwork. I do have another boom just in case I need it. Chat room, what's going on with the chat room there this morning? Yeah, the picnic is big with the kids. It really, really is. And Jessica says, how cool. They're going to get a ton of pictures with that performance. Let's see. They are perfect for Facebook and Twitter posts. Make them right for upload. That is true. It sizes them. I think that's important to be able to size those pictures properly. Let's see. No pics are allowed during the performance. Only have dress rehearsal pics. Got to post them before the final performance. Jessica and I understand that. You know, I used to go to our kids' dance recitals, and we weren't allowed to take them either during the performance. So, you know, we got a lot during the recitals. So that's pretty cool. Everyone getting out Google Maps. For what? What are we getting out Google Maps for, Brian? Okay. So it looks like we got that part of the show all done. Looks like we can do a wrap here this morning. And I'm glad everybody was able to show up. Once again, every week it humbles me very, very much that you folks come back to listen to these shows. Thank goodness I could pull the show off. My wife was beating her ear this morning, and she was ready to give me the old right hook across the old jaw and knock me out because I was a little bit on edge. When my internet connection doesn't work and I can't produce these shows, I get very, very edgy because I feel now that we have the Sunday morning connection. And I think that's great. You guys expect me to be here, and I want to be here with you. So, we are going to wrap it up there. Unless you have a question, Skype is still open. Let me open that for a minute here. And just learned how to do that this morning, how to auto merge. That's pretty neat. With the software I'm using here. The software I'm using, a lot of people say, Jack, how do you stream? I may do a YouTube video on this because I'm using free software that works extremely well. I don't have a problem with the free stuff. So, okay. That's what they wanted tickets for, was for the show, for the Nutcracker show. Very, very good. The X-Ray color card or passport. Are you talking about white balancing, Jake the Snake? Jake the Snake. Or is that for profile building for your printer? Yes. No, I'm not. You might have seen my show here a while back, a couple shows ago. I talked about custom white balancing. I just use is it 13% natural gray card or 16% natural gray card, and I just take a quick shot up against that in my lighting, and I calibrate from there, and I'm good to go. So the other things are nice. I mean, they're a little expensive side, and I don't like to spend a lot of money for the white balancing. So. Okay, guys. Well, everybody out there, guys and gals, have a really, really great day today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I think I have to go out today sometime after a while. My stepdaughter actually wants to go out. We have to do some panoramics for her college course. She's becoming a nurse, and she has to take photography. Figure that out. And, I'm sure you know why. You have to be well-rounded. And photography makes us well-rounded, right? Because we're all well-rounded people. So thanks, Ron. Glad you had a good time today. Glad everybody stopped in there. Once again, we're going to give all these shout-outs, and then we're going to clear out of here. Brian, Dennis, Hugh, Jake the Snake, Jessica, Jody, Keith, Kevin, Ron, user 4637, and Vicky. Thanks everybody for stopping in today. I'm glad you came over to Photography Weekly and Jack's Tech Corner. Please catch me on my YouTube videos at, I think it's called 42 Technoman. Catch me on there, and you can see a lot of videos on Photoshop and Photoshop elements and photography in general. Also, follow me on Twitter at Technoman. Jump on our Facebook group. It's Jack's Tech Corner. And now on Google+, you can find us on there also. So there's many, many ways to find us. So until next week, as always, keep those shutters clicking, keep the editors editing, and I'll see you back here next Sunday again on Photography Weekly and Jack's Tech Corner. Bye for now.